Hi everyone, welcome back to the Miller and Nigerians YouTube channel. My name is Emily, and today we're going to be going over subcutaneous shots in goats. So personally, today we are going to have CD&T and Bosie to give to our bucks and also to our does who are doing about 30 days. I always bring up a little basket of materials. It'll usually just contain my shots and a couple extra needles. So when you have this many to give out in one day, it is really helpful to vet wrap them by the amount and Sharpie on who needs that amount. It just helps you to keep track and make sure that everyone is getting the proper dose that they need. So before we give any shot, we want to make sure that what we're giving is warmed up, especially with ones that are refrigerated like CD&T vaccines. Those are going to live in the fridge and be pretty cold. So we warm those up. You can either stick them in your waistband or in a pocket. You can just leave them out, or I know some people like to run them between their hands just like this. Just be a little careful doing that, because there have been times when I accidentally unscrew the needle from the top doing that, especially with these little Lorlock syringes. So to give these shots, the first thing that I recommend, especially if you're doing this alone, is to have a way to restrain the goats. So we just use our regular everyday milking stand. We lock their head in, give them some grain, and then we also have access to both sides of the goat. So especially if you're giving multiple shots, it's nice to just switch the sides. Okay, so we're over at the milk stand now, and this is where most of our action is going to be happening today. I did just want to show kind of how it works. I assume if you have a milk stand, you're going to know how it works. But for anybody curious, you've got this rod here. It's going to slide over. The goat's head's going to be through here, and it'll lock them in. There's a food pan with some alfalfa dust in it currently. And then we just put a mat down top, and that's it. They're locked in. You can give them their shots, milk them, do whatever you need to them. Okay, so we have the first doe over here. This is the little first freshener who is not locked in the stand yet, but she does have some grain with her. Come on, sorry. There you go. And when we give these sub-Q shots, my personal preference, and probably the most common, is to just give it in this little flap of skin right by the point of elbow. So you'll be able to feel the bone of their point of elbow, and that's going to be right about here. You're going to grab the skin and tent it. It's a little hard to see because she's so fluffy right now, but you're going to grab a hold of the skin on either side. It's going to make a nice little tent and give you access to that subcutaneous pocket. So I have the CD&T. Whoa. Okay, so I've made sure to get all the air bubbles out of what I'm giving. That is pretty important. So now, make sure you keep your cap nearby. You're just going to tent the skin. You'll feel for the very top of that tent. You're going to take the bevel facing outward, and the bevel is, I don't know if you can see on camera, the bevel is that little part that almost dips in the needle. That's going to face you. Feel on the top, poke down through, and now you're going to draw back to make sure you have no blood, and you can go ahead and give it. There you go. Make sure to rub it. And now you're going to recap your needle. So the correct way to do this, I can't exactly show, is to set your cap down on a flat surface and then guide your needle back into the cap. That's the correct way to do it, and definitely don't do it on your hand. You want to try to avoid just popping the cap back on, because you can poke yourself with the needle. So I'm going to do the same thing with her Bosie on the opposite side, because I do try to switch it if I have multiple shots to give. It's a little bit harder for me to show on the other side, but I will have more goats and we'll do another example. Okay, I have a different doe now. This is What You Talking About. She's a really pretty little willow daughter. Another first freshener, so not really used to the stand, still kind of nervous. We're just going to do the exact same thing with her. And if you want to sit down beside them, you can. I prefer to stand. You're just going to tent the skin right in that point of elbow. Feel on the top of the tent. And you can poke your needle down through with the bevel sticking out. Come on, Taki. Draw back. No blood. Go ahead and give it. All right. There you go. Okay. Same thing. I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side. Again, I can't show that very well just with our setup, so I will be back with a buck next time. All right, with us now we have Southern Grace Casanova. He's also very hairy and in rut. Isn't that right? Yes, I know. So that doesn't stop us. We're going to give him the exact same treatment. He's going to get CD&T and Bosi. Same deal. We're going to find the point of elbow. That's in the armpit area. You're going to find the bone. You're going to tent the skin right there. Find the top, and you can actually see his skin a little bit easier. So you're going to find the top of this tent. You're going to point your bevel out, go right down through, and now you're going to draw back. You're not in blood, and now you can give it. There you go. Draw out. Cap your needle. And now you're going to rub it. Okay, that's it. It's really that simple. The main thing is just making sure that you're not drawing up any blood, because you don't want a lot of these things in the bloodstream. You're not trying to give them IV. You're giving them sub-Q, so in the subcutaneous tissue. There are some other areas to give sub-Q shots. Technically, you can also give them like up over the ribs or over the shoulder. And sometimes if you're treating heavily with subcutaneous things, like penicillin with listeria, you will have to resort to that, because you can't just keep giving it in the same location time after time after time after time for weeks on end. But generally, the best for just one-time little shots, antibiotics, vaccines, whatever, it's just going to be in the elbow. And here's Katz showing off his wonderful buckiness. Is that right? Yeah, your wonderful, wonderful buckiness. Alright, so as I was giving Mr. Wasabi here his shots, I noticed that he had a little bit of blood, and I didn't cover that in the initial part, but I did want to use this to show that a little bit of blood, when you take the needle out, is normal as long as you're not drawing up blood. So just like how humans might bleed a small amount with a flu shot or something, the goats can bleed a little bit as well. And you can see this is just like a little dot. It's not flowing out of him. It's not coming anymore. It was just a little amount of blood, and he's white, so it looks worse than it is. But this is not really a need for concern. Alright, that's all for today's video. I hope you did learn something, and if you have any questions, as always, feel free to reach out to us on the farm page or email us. Our farm page is Milren Nigerian on Facebook, and our email is linked on our YouTube channel. So I wish you guys all luck with your kidding seasons and with everything else going on with your goats, and I will see you all in the next episode.